It's not been the best paying week I've ever had, but it's been manageable. But even worse, I'm going to need a new engine for my van. Hi everybody, thank you for watching. It's Dave here, Amber Logistics, and today is Tuesday, 31st of October. It's Halloween, and it is 4:30, and it's getting dark already now because of the old clocks going back. Hope you all enjoyed your extra hours kip. So how's this week going so far? Well, the answer is it's not too bad at the moment. I'm still in the hire van, and I must confess, I've grown to like this van, this MAN TGE. I did drive my van on Saturday to the garage, or no, Sunday, I beg your pardon, and it felt like a clunker compared to this. So I think that if I was going to get another van, which would be definitely in 18 months, possibly sooner if this one carries on the way it was behaving, I'd definitely consider one of these MAN TGEs. Really, really good van. I've been impressed with it. A couple of things I'd like to change on them, but you can't do nothing about it. The top storage, for example, but you can always build something in the van to cope with that. So what's happened with me this week? Well, Monday, yesterday, was a great day. Had a really, really good day. I got some work from that new company, and the first job I got was a collection to go and collect from a military base in North Yorkshire. I'm not going to say it was a Darlington DL postcode anyway, and it was to collect a small box of equipment and take it to a place in Stockport that refurbs or calibrates them. Now, the beauty of this type of work is that you get paid from the point of origin. So I get paid from leaving home to go and pick up the item. You have a bit of security to get through, and they've had to give all my information, and that's why I've not been able to do this kind of work before and get me approved. And then you go directly to point of delivery and deliver. And so I actually got paid to leave my house, drive up 80 odd miles or so to pick it up, and then drive another 80 odd miles or so to drop it off. And I was delivered and done for 10 a.m. just before 10 o'clock, but paid for all those miles at the rate per mile that's agreed, which is a pretty more than fair price, even for a long wheelbase van doing a small van job. So that was a cracking start to the day. And I thought, well, that's great. Gives me plenty of time to look on the CX, find another job, not necessarily a big job, but that will do me for the day. But when I delivered, they asked me if I was available and could I cover some extra work for them, which of course I did. So I went to Manchester Airport, just down the road from Stockport, collected 2 items, 1 pallet and 1 barrel, and delivered the pallet in Durham area. It was really near that Beamish museum, and then delivered the barrel, which was hazardous but under scope, so to speak, to Stockton. And they'd also asked, when I was in Stockton, could I nip over to Middlesbrough, which was only 15-20 minutes away, and collect a pallet of chemicals, again, whilst ADR, but more ADR aware, and take them back to Manchester Airport. So that was a cracking number. But however, there was a slight hitch, because when I got to the place where I was collecting, I had all the paperwork and references, but they wouldn't release the goods to me. It was nothing to do with me. It was between the shipper not the people who gave me the job, but the actual shipping airline freight company, had not informed them that I was collecting the items. And because of the nature of the goods and the way it's got to be packaged for air freight, and they've got to go through different procedures and paperwork for that, it wasn't ready. So the goods were there, but it wasn't ready for shipping. And they told me that I couldn't have it. So I got the name of the person who informed me. Didn't cause any trouble, didn't cause a fuss. I was a little bit gutted because I thought, oh, a job going home, that would have been brilliant. Went outside, rang my company, told them what's happened, said, right, we'll make a couple of phone calls. Can you hang fire for 10 minutes? Let's just find out a bit more information. And rang me back and said, pull off the job, but you'll get paid anyway, because it's not our fault, and we will be charging for this. So I actually got paid to go home. I was going home anyway, obviously, but I didn't actually carry anything. So the actual day itself, earnings-wise, was a really, really good day. One of my best for a good long time. And I was home in time to rehearse with the boys as well. So the Ambaliers didn't go without their world-famous, well, I'm a bass guitar player now because they've decided my guitar is not good enough, and singing. But that's all a matter of opinion, really. Anyway, so that left today, and they had some work for me today as well. Now, this work is not as good because they have some really quality work like I got yesterday, and then they have some work that doesn't pay quite as well. But everybody has to take a turn. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. So today's work involved getting to the airport, to one of the freight handlers there for around 9 o'clock. Well, I got there at 8:30 actually, and it was ready for me anyway. And I was to collect 3 items for delivery. So it was 2 pallets for one company, 5 large boxes for another company, and another pallet for another company. And basically, I was to deliver to a distribution centre the 2 pallets first, then do a collection in. So that was in Stoke area, but then I also had a collection in Stoke, and then I was to deliver Derby, do a collection Derby, and then finally do a collection, a delivery in Nottingham, and then bring the collected items back to the airport. Which all sounds straightforward. The only problem was the first drop, when I looked, it had a booking in time of 12 o'clock, and it was a distribution centre, and I was going to get up there for probably just after 10, which then would have meant mooching around for ages, and there wasn't even a chance that I could go and do something else because the van was chocker and I needed to take these off. So I decided what I'll do is I'll go there anyway and see if I can unload, and if not, I'll go and treat myself to some breakfast or whatever somewhere. And I got there and they let me in and told me if you're prepared to wait 20 minutes and handball the goods off onto pallets, you can unload. So no problem. The fat man did a bit of manual labour, got them off, and I was done and out of there. So that was absolutely brilliant because that meant that I was then ahead of where I thought I would be. Went and did my collection in Stoke and did all the other things that I have to do. And the upshot was I was back at Manchester Airport delivering the collections I'd got and clear and dusted for 4 o'clock. Now I'm on my way home. Traffic's a bit gruesome, but it's 20 to 5 now, and it's only going to get worse, isn't it, really? But I am probably 25 minutes from home. So I'm going to fill the van up on the way back because I go past Costco. So I might as well take advantage of the cheaper fuel. And then tomorrow, I don't know. I've not got anything booked in. They may have work for me, but I will not find out till the evening. I haven't looked at the CX all day today. And now I think, if I look at the CX and find something, then obviously they can't give me any work. Or should I take a chance and hope that they give me work? I don't know. Don't know what to do. So I've had a glance. There was nothing I really fancy. So I've decided to take a gamble and not look at the CX for any work and see if they ring me this evening to offer me some work tomorrow. If they don't, then I'll look for something on the CX tomorrow. Now, hopefully, my van, which is now at the repair shop, will be ready Thursday or Friday. If that's the case, I'm not intending to work Friday, or certainly work for anyone in the morning, because I want to go and get my van back. The wife can drop me off in the morning if it's ready. I'll pick it up, bring it home, strip everything out of the hire van, and then get the hire van back to the hire company on Saturday morning, off-hire it, so that my van's ready to rock and roll on work for Monday morning. I might even be tempted to do a little job in the van, maybe Saturday or something, if there's some work about, just to give it a test and make sure it don't play up. Now, the garage are going to road test it, obviously, but I'd like it to have a really long run and just see how she fares, check that the water levels don't change, everything, get it right up to temperature. And then we'll see how it goes from there. Hopefully she'll run fine. If not, then I've got some decisions to make. But I'll let you know how the rest of the week goes. But so far, so good. I mean, the CX could have been busy today for all I know. But I didn't look on it, did I? I hope everyone else is doing well, and I hope you have a good week. Well, good evening. It is Wednesday evening, 1st of November. And as you can see, the video is a little different as it's dark. And when I'm driving, you wouldn't see me face in the cab of the van anyway. And I've not got the microphone on, so I don't know if you'll hear this all right. If it comes out in the video, I've deemed it that you can hear it. But I'm doing it in a new style for this one time only, as a homage to the delivery man who's got a YouTube channel, and he does all these videos like this so you can't see his face or guess his identity. And this is just simply because it suits me at the time. So I'm heading home. I've just left the Borough Bridge, which is kind of North Yorkshire, and I'm heading back home. I'll get home probably 8 o'clock, so it's a longish day today. Let me tell you what's happened and why I've ended up here. Basically, I did the work for my work supplies yesterday, and it was a fairly straightforward day, working from the airport, delivering to different collections. And I decided, I think I mentioned it in the previous vid, that I was going to see if I got any work from them without actually looking for a job. Alas, I didn't get a job. They're not busy today. My mate got a job, but again, it was only very, very small work. They did say they had a job for, if I wanted it, at 10 o'clock from the airport, but it was only going to Macclesfield. And although the rate of pay for it was very good at 60 quid, you know, I was waiting till 10 o'clock for a job to Mac was not as inviting. However, I didn't say I wouldn't do it. I said, okay, I'll do that. But what they said is, no, you don't have to do this one, and anybody can do it when they bob into the airport. So if you find something more inviting via the CX, go ahead and do it, just let us know. So that left me looking on the feed this morning, and I found a job to Middlesbrough from Bacup, which is just out the other side of Rochdale, so it's not too far from me. And I bid a long wheelbase job at £1.30 a mile, which to me is about what I would accept for a long wheelbase job on the CX. I don't always get it, and there's plenty of bids that go in that will prove I don't always get it, but that's what I like to achieve. Obviously more, but, you know, I think £1.30 you can carry dead miles with £1.30. And it was a large collar or some kind of thing for it was going to the port at Middlesbrough for the dredging ship. Here's a picture of the item and the ship it went on. Yeah, something a bit different there. Anyway, it was quite heavy at 700 kilos, and in fact I found out it was a 2-van job. They were actually sending 2 vans up, but Anvil got there first. But that left me in Middlesbrough at lunchtime, just after 12, and I started looking to see if I could find another job, preferably towards home. And a couple of jobs came up, but I wasn't successful, so I didn't get them. So I thought I'll do a drive down towards North Yorkshire, Wetherby, Harrogate, you know, maybe catch Leeds, see if I can pick something up there. And whilst I was driving, the job that I'm doing now came up, and it was Boroughbridge. Collecting Boroughbridge, long wheelbase van job, drive to Manchester, East Manchester, drop off, pick up, come back to Boroughbridge. Now that really is not ideal for me, but I wanted to get some numbers in, so I thought I'll do it, but I'll put a bid in that would reflect the fact that I'm not going to get anything from Boroughbridge when I get back, and I'll need to drive home. So that is how I bid the job. For information purposes, 70 miles from Boroughbridge to East Manchester, where I was going. So therefore 70 miles back. Obviously making a total of 140 miles. I bid £200 for this job, and I got it. So I figured I can carry some dead miles back, but it's a nice, decent number to add on to my invoicing. And I did it. I'm sorry I did it now. It was a bit of a faff. I've got a little bit more money on it now. Got an extra 20 quid on it, because when I picked up, which was from a kitchen shop, it was some units that were going back returned, all flat pack, and then it was to take it to kitchen manufacturer or distributor, Manchester, and then bring some other stock back up. So it all got loaded on. A guy at the shop helped me put it on. However, when I got to Manchester, they knew nothing about the returns, weren't willing to take them off me, and then had a bit of a faff then while he's ringing his account manager and everything else. So that is why I got some waiting time for the faffing about. Got loaded with the new items, arranged with him to ring him 10 minutes before I got up to Boroughbridge, because he only lived around the corner. And when I got there, he was waiting for me. Took the stuff off the van, put it in his shop, and now I'm heading back home. However, one thing has happened. I can't update the CX with this completed job. I've spoke to the shipper, but the CX is down, and it seems to be down for everybody. So I'll have to update the pods and everything else tomorrow morning. And of course I can't look for any work if anything was to come through. There are jobs popping up as banners on my phone, but I can't get in the CX, so there's obviously some kind of problem, so I'm not bothering now. Heading home, probably stop off for some fuel, and then we'll see if my new work suppliers give me any work tomorrow. I've not had a chance to look on the feed for work. I did bid for an ADR job, but that was sold to somebody else. It was a bit ambitious anyway. It was going to Aberdeen, and we'll see what happens from there. So it's a bit of a disappointment, the old feed being down. I'm sure that the CX will compensate us all with a nice little check to say sorry for your troubles, or maybe they won't. Anyway, that's where we are up to on Wednesday. Probably not a good idea to do this job, but wanted to get the numbers, and it's not been busy today. A lot of people on the old WhatsApp group have been saying how quiet it's been. So I figured I'll get it while I can get it, because I'm not going to be working much on Friday, or at least I hope not, because I'm hoping to get my van back. Catch you in a bit. Hello everybody, it's Friday today, it's the 3rd of November. It's not a good day. And yesterday wasn't a brilliant day either. Yesterday I didn't have any work from the people who occasionally supply me work, and I struggled like mad to get any work off the CX. And then they rang me to say they had a couple of jobs if I wanted to do them, which I did. I covered those 2 jobs for them, which weren't bad paying, but they were local jobs. And then I eventually got a job off the CX going to Grimsby, which I quoted, long wheelbase job at 130 a mile. Took it to Grimsby and didn't get anything back, and didn't get home until 7 o'clock. So earnings wise, it wasn't a brilliant day. There were some dead miles involved, wholly unsatisfactory. But Monday and Tuesday were good days. Now so that was Thursday. I've lost track where I'm going here, but the reason why I'm filming this now is that it's Friday and I've got pretty much a full day of work from them, which involves collection from, say, Asaf, which is a new customer for them, and then I'm making sure it's done properly with a collection from D-side, again for another new customer, one of which that I have passed on to them. And hopefully this will work out well. So I want to make sure this one's done properly. But besides the collections and deliveries and things I've got to do via the airport, which is a full day's work and the money will be okay, the garage have rang me about my van. And the head was sent to the engineering shop or whatever it is that does these things. And they've rung back and said it's completely and utterly bollocks. It's too warped, and it was no way they could skim it or do anything with it. And so the consequence of that means that there's a good chance the bottom end is obviously warped as well. So there's no point in getting a new head. And if it's not going to marry properly, it still won't run right. So ultimately, my engine is shagged on the van. So I've had to make a decision and decided to replace the engine. Because at the end of the day, the van without an engine is worth nothing. It's scrap. So I might get 500 quid scrap for it. Maybe more, but let's say 500 quid. A van with an engine is working, going concern, it's worth it. I can either move it on after, or I could keep it because I've now got another engine in it. So they're going to try and source a low mileage engine for the van, and they're going to ring me back later on. But realistically, I'm probably looking around the region of £3 grand with fitting and everything like that. Might be less, might be more. But when I've worked out the maths, it's better to replace the engine, get 18 months more out of the van, and then trade her in against another van, which will not be another Citroen or a Peugeot. I'm going to go for a German van. Yes, they'll have faults, but I do quite like these MANs. So I think in 18 months' time, providing that thing is all right after its engine has been replaced, I'm going to get one of these, or a VW Crafter, or a Mercedes Sprinter. It just seems to me that the Citroens and Peugeots are cheaper for a reason. Now, I have been unlucky, and probably the damage to the head was from its initial water pump failure a year ago, and it's been running and it's not been 100% with water issues ever since. And at the time it was under warranty, but I'd have a hell of a job claiming back on a warranty that's expired, trying to claim it happened when it was under warranty and proving that when it had 60,000 miles more on it than when the warranty problem was rectified. So I'm going to say the engine is toast at 112,000 miles. Put it down to experience. Fortunately for me, I've got some funds in the company to pay for this engine. But the only thing is the time off work. So it looks like I'm going to have to extend the hire on this van, which I hope will be going back this weekend for probably 2 weeks more, I would suggest. Which is additional expense to the company, reducing profit. But it's better to earn something than nothing. Because if I say, right, I'm not going to work for 2 weeks, I'm still paying all my outgoings, aren't I? But it is a bit of a gutter, it's a bit of a kick in the bollocks. And these are the ups and downs of running vehicles. These vehicles run hard, they run lots of miles. They use day in, day out. It's not as if you commute somewhere like a builder, park it up all day, do your job and then drive home. They're all over the country, stopping, starting, doing mega miles. Things go wrong. I didn't expect this to go wrong. It's one of those things. Nothing I can do. So if by getting another low mileage engine I can get 100,000 miles out of it, the van won't owe me anything. I'll move it on. If I change it now, I am going to take a financial hit. I mean, I could be unscrupulous and tell them to put the thing back together and trade it in now. But I can't do that to someone. I wouldn't like it done to me, and I can't do that to somebody else. Because if I trade that in and go to VW or MAN, this van, they'll put it through the auctions, won't they? A van with it. Because if you start it up and run it, it sounds fine. You know, so they'll just stick it through the auctions, and then some poor sod will probably pay 10 grand for it and be stuck with the same problem. And I can't do that to somebody else. So, as much as you could be unscrupulous and probably get away with it and say, well, I didn't know it was faulty, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to replace the engine. I'm going to keep on using it for the time being. And in 18 months, when the van doesn't really owe me anything, I'm going to trade her in, and whatever I get for it, I'll use as the deposit against a replacement van. Probably a low mileage German van. And that's the size of it. So today I'm doing these. It will be a full day's work. I've not earned as much money this week as I did last week. So financially, because of the cost of the hire van, I've not earned as much. But, you know, I've earned something, which is better than nothing. And another thing I'd like to mention, and perhaps people can give their advice in the comments, is about satnav. I use Google Maps always. And as I said in the last video, a navigation problem happened where I was on a narrow road and came to a too low bridge. And as far as I'm aware, you cannot use Google Maps and put your vehicle dimensions in it. I think it just assumes you're in a car. Can anybody recommend a reasonably priced satnav system where you can enter the dimensions of your vehicle and this isn't going to happen again? Because this has happened about 3 times now. In Mosley, not too far where I live, there's a few low bridges that I now know about, but didn't at the time. Sorry about that, the phone rang then, so I got interrupted, so I've just switched it back to the normal way without the microphone on, so it may be a bit noisy. Yeah, so if anyone can recommend a reasonable price satnav where you can put your vehicle dimensions on to avoid that happening, I'd be grateful if you could put it in the comments, and it may help. So that's the end of this video for this week. I'm sorry that the recent videos have been on a bit of a downer, haven't they? But these are the hazards of running a vehicle for a living. But once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. Give us a thumbs up If you like the video and you find it useful, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.